Hey gang, Scott Davenport here. Well, today's video is about composition and specifically refining your composition as you're taking photos. This is something I do all the time, and it's kind of become second nature. I think that's true for many of us. But what was interesting to me and what prompted me to sit down and do the video, reviewing some photos from a shoot I did recently at Falls Point in San Diego. I got down, a nice calm area with some gentle waves coming in over a bunch of boulder type rocks, and I didn't capture video of this. This is purely going to be a photo review, but I noticed how I was changing the composition as reviewing the photos. Thought I'd turn on the camera and talk about this. You can see the adjustments that get made over time and why I was doing them. So these are all unprocessed photos. So here's the first one. It kind of just started getting set up, and the idea was to have the curve of the land leading up to the sun, and then the rest of the scene. And, as context, you have some ocean, you have some waves, some of the land here. And, so as I look at this photo, there's a couple of things that are a little bit problematic. Is there's too much dead space on the left-hand side. I'm not even paying attention to light and so forth right now. These are almost like the test shots, right? Sunset isn't quite happening yet. So here's our test shots. But, compositionally, this is too empty. And yeah, the horizon's dead center, which kind of bothering me, but kind of not. It feels like the angle is just off a little bit. The scene just feels kind of flat and boring. But the first adjustment I made, moved to the next photo, you can see I've tightened up. I've gotten rid of some of that dead space on the side, and I've got a better curve in the land here. Right, so that's looking cool. Still haven't changed the horizon line. Move to the next photo. Got a couple photos in. All right, the water's coming up and rising here. As the waves come in, I'm losing a little bit of that curve, right? This area of land gets filled in with ocean. So here's before. There's the next one. And so I have to start composing, thinking about where are the waves going to be, not necessarily where they are as I'm setting up the camera. The next one came through, and I've done a change here. You can see from here to here. A couple of things. Cameras come higher a little bit and tilted downwards, so I'm picking up another larger rock right at the edge of the frame here, but that's giving me one extra anchor point to maintain that curve line here. And the change in perspective, this was kind of just dead on, a little bit flat. Here, up, tilted down a little bit, so I'm biasing a little bit more toward the land. The sky's nice, but here, you notice there's nice clouds, but up on top, it's just blue. It's just empty. That's not interesting. Cutting it off, that's fine. Our brains fill all that in. We know it's a sky. We know clouds continue and don't get cut like that. And this just felt like a more compelling photo. Got a little bonus. The bird came and sat down here, so it even gave me a bit of scale. That's just luck. So then, again, looking at the next photo, what happens next? Okay, shifted back a bit more, and I'm losing land, right? So this was a pretty major wave surge coming in. This is filling in too much of the scene, and now it became the waiting game. It's what set of waves are going to make things look good. So the next comes in, not bad. Got a pretty good curve on the land. The water's less appealing. Next one, same kind of thing. Sun's starting to peek through. That's nice. This one, pretty boring, but the whole idea here is you're waiting, right? I fine-tuned the composition, and the composition is built on the notion that the waves come in at a certain angle, they fill in a certain amount of the frame, and then you take the photo. And this was one of the last ones that I took, and I like this one just because of the action in the water. While I am losing some of the rocks, because the waves are hitting them, splashing up, this line gets maintained. And so, of these photos, I like this one quite a bit, and this one here's pretty nice as well, mainly for those curves. But for the photo I think I'm going to start working on, I just like the dynamic nature of this one. But the point of the video here, why did I turn on the camera, is this is some of the things that go through my mind as I'm fine-tuning a composition. And the takeaway that for me on this one is a nice reminder. that sometimes you need to compose for where things will be in the frame, not necessarily where they are at the moment. I think this can apply to anything. I mean, even thinking of street photography, you see an interesting person that's walking from point A to point B, and you're going to wait for them to get into a certain spot on the street and then take the photo. Maybe they're framed by an interesting doorway as they walk by, or they're at an appropriate third, whatever it might be. But you see the elements that you want in your scene. You know that some of them are moving. Compose for where that photo is going to happen, not what's happening right at the moment. The ocean personifies that incredibly well, and it's constantly moving. So there is a level of waiting around for the right things to happen as well. Well, I hope you found that interesting. You got thoughts about composition, you got tricks that you use, drop them in the comments below, share them, and we can all learn together. And until next time, my name is Scott Davenport. Happy shooting.